Yes, yes.
Hey family, hey family, hey family. Welcome to Nick and Mike, Military Brothers Talking Sports. I want to appreciate you guys joining us today. Today, family, we really have a treat for you, family. We're going to actually dedicate this show talking about Kobe Bryant. We're going to be talking about the whole hour. We're going to be discussing his careers, things he went to, the NBA championships, trades, and stuff like that. So, family, I'm Nick.
I'm Mike. Kobe beating Bryant today.
That's right. We're Military Brothers talking sports. We look forward to you guys joining us on the show. Welcome, family, to our show today. Welcome, you guys. I'm Nick.
I'm Mike.
And we're going to welcome you guys to Military Brothers Talking Sports. We want you guys to make sure you subscribe to our channel. Make sure you subscribe. Support us. Today, family, we really have a treat. Had an amazing show today. We're talking about the great Kobe Bryant. But my brother, before we get started, I always like to know, man, how was your day today, my brother?
It was a good day, man. As you can see, I'm purple and gold down, giving it up to the Mamba. I have my Lakers mask. You know I'm a Knicks fan, but I'm going to respect Kobe. Respect him. You know what I'm saying? I even rocked my Kobe's today, man. Yes.
Yo, you going deep with him, my brother. Hey,
yeah, man. I love that brother's grind, man. Incredible, impeccable work on the court.
I don't have any Kobe gear. Hey, but I respect the player, respect the game. I have a real good brother of mine named Tyrone, man. That brother is a Laker fan. The heart. He loved Kobe Bryant and stuff like that. So I would actually have to go borrow his stuff, and I want to rep some Laker gear. Me and him always go at it. But hey, today, man, a well-deserved guy on and off the court. He did some amazing things on and off the court. So we're going to salute that brother today as we talk about his military career, the things for which he accomplished. Want you guys to make sure you guys comment. When you hear your comments, your thoughts about him. And so we definitely want to talk about it. First thing we're going to get into, you can see this brother played 18 years. Actually played 20 years, but he played all of them with the LA Lakers.
Yes,
and
yes.
What we're going to do, man, we're going to, as you see down the bottom, is talking about his career highlights, things which he did 18 All-Star games, 2-time scoring champions. He won 5 NBA championships, 15 All-Star, All-NBA, 12 All-Defensive team. He was drafted in 96, 97, also was a part of the All-NBA. He also was an MVP at one point. And so what we're going to do, my brother, we're just going to take this thing in order. First, we're talking about, of course, coming out of high school, man. He was a highly rated high school player.
Yeah.
And my beloved Charlotte Hornets drafted him and traded him to the Lakers. So I don't know what was your thoughts on when you first came in? Did you hear it? Did you know anything about Kobe Bryant when you first entered the league?
Well, here is a kid out of high school. Me personally, I thought he was overhyped. I was like, calm down. Because here, I'm just thinking that here's a high school kid. He's coming to the league. What's the big hubbub? Let him earn his stripes and get it in like everybody else. But I knew that he was big because he took Brandy to the prom. Yeah. At the time, Brandy was a mega superstar.
Yeah.
And he was this high school kid taking her to the prom. And I'm like, okay, wow, is he really all that? Not knowing who he will become.
I got you. Well, I can let you know, man. At the time, I was a Hornets fan. And when Charlotte actually drafted him, I was actually excited because at the team, Charlotte had a decent team. But to me, I felt like Charlotte, had they needed a couple more pieces. And to me, Kobe Bryant, I'm like, man, okay, this is at the time high school players was, starting, and you get Pub and stuff like that. And I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
this guy is something to Charlotte. Because they had Muggsy Bogues, they had Glenn Rice at the time, they had Dale Curry, they had Tony Delk. They had a lot of good players on their team, but they didn't have that super. So at the time, Glenn Rice was an all-star at that time.
Right. Had Vlade Divac came over there? Vlade?
That's who they traded for. And
okay, right, yeah.
Yeah, they Vlade he was on the Lakers at the time. And at the time, Shaq, it was really what was about, Shaq, and they were trying to create cap space. So what they were looking to do, they brought Kobe Bryant in, the Lakers. They allowed Kobe Bryant to play against a couple of their NBA players. And they excelled. As you know, that wise guy, Jerry West, he held his own. So Jerry West was already looking at Shaq. He's like, wow, this is another piece. We can pair these two together, and maybe we can build something with these two players. So what he did, contact Charlotte. Charlotte, the 13th pick. Kobe wasn't being considered as the number one pick, and we'll go through that draft, and we'll look at the player. But right now, we're going to look at Charlotte, drafting. So Charlotte agreed to the trade, and initially, when Kobe Bryant got drafted by Charlotte, he was excited. Like all NBA players, you're excited about just being drafted. A lot of people say, hey, he didn't want to play for Charlotte. Not initially. He was excited about being drafted. He even knew about, the Charlotte Hornets, who was on their squad. But it wasn't until after he found out that Charlotte was already looking to trade him that he would never play for Charlotte. And his thing was, you're giving up on me and haven't even, spent the time to see if I'm a type of player that could fit with your organization. And we actually know this was one of the worst decisions in Charlotte Hornets franchise history.
Got to be, man. Many regrets.
Bro.
Whoo, boy.
Yeah. So that draft, man, on that draft night, man, was a smart move by Jerry West, as he's recognized one of the best, greatest GMs ever to be in the NBA. He definitely pulled a trade of the ages, because my thing is that, man, he Kobe Bryant with Glenn Rice, and at that time Anthony Mason was on their team. Big Mace. He could, Anthony Mason, as you know, could handle the ball. And they had Robert Parrish. My thing is that, Robert out of here. But you could have picking up a young center. You had Muggsy Bogues, but at that time they were transition. You had Dale Curry coming off the bench. You had Tony Delk on the squad. So my thing is that Kobe would have changed, I believe, the Charlotte franchise. He would have changed everything. But Charlotte, hey, that's water under the bridge. It didn't happen. He went to the Lakers, and the rest is history, like they say. So yeah,
history.
Yeah. So now, man, I just want to touch base on that. So then, as you know, let's take a look at that draft. That draft class was actually arguably one of the best draft drafts. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen just to show that actual draft class, just so everybody can see.
Strong class.
Yeah.
Die-hard Laker fan, Darryl Tucker, what's going on, brother?
Yeah. Let's see what you.
No, he ain't had the little shorts and the long socks. Yes,
that's right. Jerry West had confidence in the kid. That's right. You're going to build something. Kobe had a major chip on his shoulder. Correct. And as I hear a different story, and I agree with you 100%, Darryl, it's that he had this major chip. That's the thing that really stood out. As they give so many shout outs about Kobe Bryant and what he was able to accomplish. And man, I'm letting you know right now, man, that guy was an amazing basketball player. And so what I'm going to do, man, so hopefully everybody can see this, man. Just go down this roster. As you see right here, number one pick in that draft was actually Allen Iverson.
AI, yeah, 96 was strong.
This draft class, man, was an amazing draft class. Yeah, AI, Marcus Camby, former Knick. Played with Knicks for a couple of years. Got
Yep,
drafted
yep.
to Toronto. Sharif Abdul-Rahim, actually coming out of college. Sharif was a great player. He was it was an All-American, first team All-American.
Any
Stephon,
way to bring that up? Is there any way to bring that up a tad?
make this a little bit bigger.
Yes, sir.
Let me see the way I can. There we
Okay.
go.
That blocks us, but it's
Yeah.
still a tad small on my end. But if you call them out and put us back in the loop, then we good.
Let me see. Let me see if I can do this. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not sure that made a difference. But I can just call them out and just really just go from there.
we can do that.
Yeah, I'll just call them out. With the fourth, when you see with fifth pick, a former high school teammate, Ray Allen was the fifth pick.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
one of your teammates.
yeah, former teammate, won the high school championship together. Shout out,
Something's in the house.
yeah, something South Carolina, Dazzle, yeah, South Carolina. Anthony Walker. Antoine, hey, Walker was a decent player for a couple of years. And I'm just looking, these guys played 12 years. Lorenzo Wright, God bless the dead.
Yes,
Wright was
rest in peace.
yeah, he was a good role player. Kerry Kittles played a good role with the Nets.
Yes, Kerry was incredible. Out of UConn.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Ray.
Yep. Samarki, then you had Samarki Walker.
Yes, good player, good ball player.
Kerry Kittles went to Villanova. Ray went to UConn.
My mistake.
Yeah. And then Pavard, I don't know how to pronounce the joke. He played 11 years, but he was more of a role player, kind of big. And then you had Kobe Bryant. But watch this. You had Pedro Stojakovic in that draft. Steve Nash.
Stojakovic.
Yeah. Steve Nash was in that draft. Hall of Famer. Jermaine O'Neal. Actually, I played against Jermaine O'Neal in that draft.
Let me say something. But before you go past O'Neal,
yeah,
because of what Kobe did as he came into the NBA, Jermaine O'Neal was almost forgotten about. But because he started to blossom with the Portland Trail Blazers, it would take him a minute to get out of the hype of all the other guys as I watched Jermaine O'Neal blossom because he's right out of here, Columbia, South Carolina.
Yeah, Jermaine O'Neal, man, he actually played even with the Pacers. Jermaine really, he made several All-Star teams.
Yes,
with the Indiana Pacers, and him and somebody else is teaming up to do some great stuff off the court. So, I have to say, man, yeah, it was a great draft class. I'm just looking at look at Dante Jones at Roy Rogers, but the one Derek Fisher was in that draft.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm just saying.
Dante Jones, didn't he play for Duke? Dante Jones?
Yeah. Dante Jones. No, Mississippi State. He only played 1 year. So he was a draft bust. But I'm just saying, man.
Draft bust.
Fellow Harrington was in this draft class. Good role player.
Georgetown
was in this draft class. Malik Rhodes. Yeah. So this really was a good draft class. You really found some great role players on in the squad, man. And Kobe, man, that draft class, man, you had a lot of diamonds in the rough in that particular draft class.
Yeah. Kobe definitely rose to the top of that.
Yeah. But I remember in this particular draft class, man, and we can get in that discussion, man, at one period of time, it was arguably they would debate between, Ray as well as Kobe Bryant, who was the better shooting guard. And Kobe Bryant kind of took offense to it. Kobe Bryant felt like he was the better player. And he said whenever he played Ray, he would go hard at Ray. And I think at one time they had a little spat to where they weren't even talking to each other.
Right.
But as you get older, all that stuff. But when a younger player, he said he had a target on his back as it pertains to Ray.
Kobe had vendettas out for a couple of players, man. If you did him wrong, said something wrong to him, you didn't draft him, you compared him to him, he was going to take it out on you.
Yes. That's the thing about Kobe Bryant. And even his rookie year, he actually won the slam dunk contest. His rookie, he won it, did one time and was one and done, doing stuff between the legs and dunking the ball, man. Kobe, man, was really, really a player to where, like a player like no other. You have to give props where props is due. And that guy, man, is really one of he definitely going to be missed.
Yes, I remember when Kobe All-Star game, and I want to say it was 1998. I think it was New York City, and they tried to snub Kobe. Not talk to him, maybe not shake his hand, isolate him a little bit. Kobe put on a show in that All-Star game. One of the plays is he acted like he was going to put the ball behind his back, but he put the ball between his legs and caught it with the same hand, left everybody behind him, and just went to the rack with reckless abandonment.
Hey, Kobe Bryant has a lot of people on posters. I know.
Oh, yes. Oh, boy.
He jumped over Dwight Howard and dunked on.
Ooh, that's another one that we were overseas together when he kicked that one off. That was 2004. I would never forget it.
Man, when he dunked on Dwight Howard,
he put it on him. On him.
That was a poster shot of all poster shots.
They used to call it N on N when I was young. You know what that means. But anyway, something was on Dwight's neck. We'll leave it at that.
He did it. But the thing, even when Kobe Bryant played on the court, and even Steve Kerr was talking about, he had so much respect for Kobe because even when he first played against Michael Jordan, he was asking Michael Jordan to critique his game. And so he was asking Michael Jordan questions to help improve his game. So that's the one thing about Kobe Bryant. Whatever he did it to become the best. So he recognized Mike was the best at that time. So he wanted to play Mike. He wanted to challenge Mike. But most importantly, he wanted to get information from Mike in order to make him the best player in the game.
One of Kobe Bryant's quotes, he said, "I don't want to be the next Michael Jordan. I only want to be Kobe Bryant." That right there, when you compare greatness together and he makes that statement, it lets you know his determination. And I'm going to say this, and maybe this can be a topic of discussion. I believe that Kobe patterned his game after Mike.
Yeah.
And what I tell people is that's not easy to do. You talk about Kobe's likeness, how he clutches the fist, the teeth, the walk, the way he just takes the jumper and makes his body fade away. I got that. If Michael Jordan's game was easily patterned after, I'd do it. All the players would do it. But when you have natural talent and you take some of Mike's moves and his wisdom and you make it your own, that's the difference where I try to tell people. It doesn't matter if Kobe patterned his game after Mike or copied his moves. He made it work for him. How many people can do that?
Kobe Bryant.
How many people can take someone else's game, emulate it, and get busy? People act like that's an easy feat.
My brother, that is very difficult to accomplish. And that's the one thing, like I say, you have to give respect where respect is due. And even though he patterned his game after Mike, one thing I can say, as we all know, arguably, he was a better jump shot as far as shooting the jump shot, as far as the 3-point shooting and stuff. He was a better shooter than Michael Jordan. Just arguably, Michael Jordan was that, that killer. And because Kobe Bryant, man, it's like he was in this own dimension to where he could he could learn from people, but focus on his game to make his game much better. He will see, okay, if you're doing this, he will engage that individual, get some feedback, and try to incorporate in order to make his game that much better.
Yeah, he was locked in. He was locked in.
Yeah,
Kobe Bryant, he's one of the rare players that I've seen, and I could probably count maybe 5 or 6 on my finger. The only guy I know, he walks on the court. The second he walks on the court, his entire body is in tune with the game. There's never a moment where he's asleep or unaware. He
One,
plays like that to the very end. It's not too many people I've seen do that. Maybe LeBron, Kevin Durant, some other old school greats. Never seen anybody bell to bell non-stop.
yep. You're right, Darryl. Said there's a video with Kobe and Mike. You can read it here. All-Star game where Kobe asked Mike about his move, and player did something, and Mike say, "I go for your ribs." Is definitely student of the game. He definitely was, and I was listening to Draymond Green. He was talking about when he became a rookie and came in the league. He said the game would be at 7:00. Kobe, and so you had times where you go on the court and you can start warming up and whatnot. He said Kobe Bryant would be out. The game's at 7. Kobe Bryant was out there like at 4:00, just drills after drills, working on this game. He said he was so enamored with Kobe Bryant that he missed his shoot around time. So he's looking like, because he's just watching Kobe and how he did what he did, and so it's like, dude. That goes to show, appreciation, fam. That goes to show you the dedication that Kobe Bryant had for a sport and something he loved. If more people would pattern that type of mindset to say, okay, I'm going to put my all in me doing something that I say I love, they will accomplish a lot more in life. So that's the one thing that you have to respect Kobe Bryant on, is the fact that he gave it his all. And I mean, he wasn't perfect. We all had a little thing, had a little situation happening, whatever, when he was younger. But he developed, he grew, he matured from that. And now, have a beautiful family. It was definitely sad to see his daughter be in that crash. Sad to see him be in that crash. But his daughter, man, tragic. So in looking at that, man, his daughter, he was working with his daughter, developing his daughter. She already had a scholarship to UConn. He already said, my daughter's going to go to UConn. She's going to be viewed as one of the best. And so he had the opportunity to let her work and practice other places, even to make his daughter better. He would work out even with other people after he left the game. So I believe that Kobe Bryant respect those who respected him, but did not have an issue with people challenging him. And that's the sign of greatness.
Right. Back to that gym that you said, I once heard Kobe Bryant say that the hours that he puts in the gym, he makes sure nobody can match them. He's in the gym 2 hours before practice starts and 2 hours after practice ends. So it doesn't matter. And over a period of time, he's going to always be up ahead of you, and you will never catch him as far as work, because you can't outwork him. Jason Williams said one day, he said he's going to beat Kobe to the gym. Kobe was already there. He practiced, but he couldn't practice no more. Jason Williams said he left. Kobe stayed 2 extra hours, and afterwards in a locker room, he asked him, Kobe, why did you stay 2 extra hours and come in 2 extra hours? Because I saw you coming.
Yeah, brother.
I knew you was there.
Yeah, man.
You under no circumstances will you outwork me.
Man, that's a mentality.
Locked in. Mamba mentality, as what was said. Mamba mentality.
You have
he's incredible. I want to drop another quote that Kobe said. Kobe says, I don't understand lazy people. I have nothing in common with them. Incredible.
That's, like I said, greatness, brother. You have to have that mind. And I'm telling you, man, as far as catering to people's feelings, he will stomp on your feelings, because he realized, man, his mentality was here and your mentality is here, and he's not about to take a step down. He's, I'm going to step my game up. And I'm someone posted here, man, she developed that mama mentality. So he was instilling that in his daughter. But that thing. And the other thing about it, man, funny, man, that, Chris Paul, he has a son. And, Chris Paul's son and Gigi were friends. I think Chris Paul's son said, oh, no, Gigi said that she was going to marry Chris Paul's son.
Mm-hmm.
Man. But Chris, man, he had a great relationship with those guys, and he accomplished so much, man. Like I said, man, it was a sign of greatness. Kobe Bryant was a great basketball player. So now, man, let's get into some of these championships. The first I want to talk about, man, is his first championship game. You can see on the screen. To me, this was his first one, but his hardest one he actually won. The first one usually is the most difficult one to accomplish. He averaged 21 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal a game. But look at the brink of elimination against the Sacramento Kings. We had Chris Webber, and those guys. Peja Stojakovic was on that squad. He beat that, and that was a tough team to get past. Jason Williams was on that squad. So those guys actually had a tough battle. They won it 3-2, and I want to say Vlade Divac was actually on that squad that actually beat them.
Right. I want to add something, man. A lot of people don't really realize this, but I do. Let's go back to the year before they won the first one. Now, the first one was in 2000.
Correct.
In 1999, Dennis Rodman was on the Laker team.
Correct.
He walked off the team also. Mm-hmm. I think Dennis said, I need to go jet skiing to clear my mind or whatever. He was good for stuff like that. Yeah. I believe, and this is just a belief. I believe Dennis Rodman walking off the team caused the Lakers a championship because his rebounding skills was incredible still. He had just finished with Mike in 98. Dennis could still clear 20-plus boards. Don't know what was said or done. Dennis walked off. The Lakers said, look, don't even bother coming back. We don't work like that. You can do that with the Bulls, but we can't do it. And I believe if Dennis had stayed on that team with Kobe and Shaq, they would have had that ring that year.
That's an interesting comment.
His rebounding skills, I believe so.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, man. Yeah. But that goes to show you, there were some things they actually had to work out in order to really be that championship team that they were striving to be. So I believe that, like I said, Dennis Rodman, didn't my man point out the fight, there were some things they had to work out in order to be a championship team. If you don't work those things out, I believe it's very difficult for you to be successful in as far as winning a championship. So to me, they had the 99, and then the very next year, they found a way how to get over the mountaintop. But my thing is that the squad that they beat the Pacers, then they had to run into Steve Nash and the Phoenix Suns. They kind of beat them pretty easily. But then they ran into those Portland Trailblazers. The Portland Trailblazers, that's when I was rooting for, actually, Portland Trailblazers. To
Damon Stoudemire.
They had Scottie Pippen. They had
Rasheed Wallace.
They had Rasheed Wallace. They had Sabonis down there. Jermaine O'Neal was actually on the team. And they had Brian Grant on that.
Grant, yes. I remember all of them very well.
Dude, they had a squad. Now,
let me add, Grant got shut down. He folded. He kind of reminded me of old James Harden when it came to the playoffs and then the crunch time. Sorry to throw that in there. But Bryant shut down, and Damon Stoudemire all of a sudden stopped being Damon.
But that year, just remember, Brian Grant was actually, he wasn't starting at that time.
But every time he got the ball, it was a turnover, or he got a stolen, or he got a shot blocked.
The reason why they lost to the Lakers is because of Mike Dunleavy, the head coach. Because that particular game, this one Portland had that huge lead going into the fourth quarter, and no one could stop Rasheed Wallace. And I remember like it was yesterday, Kobe Bryant picked up 5 fouls, and he was guarding Scottie Pippen. And
Okay.
either was guarding Scottie Pippen or Steve Smith. Both of them 6'8", 6'7", 6'8". So what Scottie Pippen and Steve Smith started doing, because Kobe Bryant couldn't really play as aggressive as he wanted to, he started going in the post, posting Kobe Bryant up and so on. But Mike Dunleavy, coaching that he was doing, went away from that formula. And the Los Angeles Lakers got in a nice rhythm and started coming back on them, and eventually ended up beating them. And that's the game when Scottie Pippen goes in the tunnel. He throws the towels on the ground because he realized that was a game that they should have won. But Scottie Pippen was also trying to prove that he could win the championship without Michael Jordan.
Okay, now this was Portland, correct?
Yeah, Portland. Portland had a squad, man. I mean, and that's because what he ended up doing down the stretch, he bring Jermaine O'Neal just to foul. Jermaine O'Neal, man, was a good player at the time. Instead of allowing him to play, he just brought him in the game to foul because Hacker Shack. They were doing the Hacker Shack rule. That, to me, dumb coaching. So to me, but Kobe Bryant still performed. They got to Indiana. This is the game where Shaq actually fouls out, and Indiana at that time, I'm thinking that Reggie Miller, they had, Shaq fouls out, and Smith down the stretch. Kobe Bryant put the Lakers on his back and carried them to victory.
Now, speaking of back, let me throw this out there. Mm-hmm. This is for the world. For those of you who ever in your entire life thought or said that Shaq carried Kobe, please understand that Kobe was averaging about 40 points a game against the Kings. You don't carry nobody dropping 40. Sorry.
I don't think that it was a matter of carrying. To me, they complimented. The compliment was there, and that's what I talked about. We talked about the when we were actually talking about the Nets, dealing with that nuclear that they're developing there with the Nets. You have to be able to compliment one another in order to develop something to where you're going to be successful. And to me, Shaq and Kobe, man, they just bounced off each other very well. Kobe did not back down to Shaq. He wasn't afraid of Shaq. He stood with Shaq. Down there, almost got in some altercation because Kobe Bryant felt like Shaq didn't take the game seriously.
They got into it, man. I saw some handprint marks on Kobe neck, and word on the street is they locked up in a locker room. And I think just what you said, Shaq was insulted by Kobe because Kobe said, "Look, man, you need to start hitting the gym a little harder, man. Get on that treadmill, man. Mm-hmm. You picking up some weight, man. We try to take this thing to the next level. We just got rocked by the Pistons. You not in the gym with me, man. What's up?"
Well, that first year was the year when they won that first championship, man. They were hungry. They really went through a lot of battles. Only easy series was the Phoenix Suns. The Indiana Pacers, when they beat Indiana and whatnot, Indiana took them to the brink. Indiana, that's when they had Reggie Miller, they had Jalen Rose on their team, they had Dale Davis on their team.
He Jalen Rosed me. Jalen went up under Kobe, tried to sprain his ankle so Kobe could come down off his jump shot and hit him. But I want to say I think that Sixers series was pretty easy too.
Well, but we're going to get to that one right now. We're looking at the first championship they won. Those who are chiming in, we'd love to hear you guys comment. We're talking about Kobe Bryant and the legacy and his career. We'd love to read you guys' comment. Make sure you subscribe to our page. Be a part of us. We are doing our show Monday through Friday. We do this every day, Monday through Friday, from 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'd love to read your comment. We're talking about Kobe Bryant. So now, the first championship, and now we're going to go to that second championship for which he won. And this is when they swept the Blazers. They played them in the first round. Portland wasn't the same team. And that's when this was literally, I believe, Kobe Bryant's best team as far as winning the championship, he was on. They swept Portland, and you can see down he was averaging 29 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. He swept the Blazers, swept the Kings, and they swept the Spurs. The Lakers, in the only game they lost, it was against the 76 when Allen Iverson stepped over Tyronn Lue when he hit the jump shot. And I'll never forget, because at the time, Shaq was struggling against Dikembe Mutombo. That's why Philadelphia traded for him, got him there, and they felt like Dikembe was that stopper. But the thing that they didn't realize, who can stop Kobe Bryant? Philly didn't have nobody to stop Kobe Bryant. Yeah.
Mutombo's stats went up each game. I will always respect him for that. He was taking elbows to the neck, jaw. Shaq was giving everything he could to Mutombo, and Mutombo was taking it. He didn't swing and try to fight back. He didn't complain to the refs, and his stats went up each game. But you're right. There was no answer for Kobe.
There wasn't no answer for Kobe. It wasn't about, even though Shaq did win the MVP of the conference because Shaq was just dominating, but they did not have an answer for Kobe Bryant. His numbers that he put up, you can see him right there on the screen, was amazing. He did what he was supposed to do. Yeah.
Shaq, get your big self in the gym. Stop playing.
Hey, you're absolutely correct about that. Yeah, he called him out. Like I said, that Mamba mentality. And there were times I forgot who he said would guard him. Yep. Aaron McKee, yes. They traded for Aaron. And to me, man, we can touch on Philly. To me, Philly made the worst mistake Philly made was moving Allen Iverson from the point guard to the shooting guard. Because remember, Philly had just drafted Jerry Stackhouse to play shooting guard. Then they had Allen Iverson. To me, that would have given them a better backcourt than Eric Snow and Allen Iverson.
You know, Allen Iverson's heart is incredible because it seemed like him and Mutombo were the only guys that weren't scared. In that first game, Philly jumped out on the Lakers, and that was only the only victory. But I saw one time when Iverson went to the hole and Shaq knocked him into the third row in between the cameras and spilled somebody popcorn and drink. Allen Iverson upside down.
Oh, my goodness. Hey.
Someone said he won't be coming through there too many more times. He can do all that during the season. Shaq not having that.
Hey, Shaq, that's why they call him Shaq D. They call him Super. They don't call him Superman for nothing, man. I'm just saying. Yeah. You have to be an old man to come through there. But that's when he won that championship game. And then his third championship, when they did the actual three-peat, they you can see swept the Blazers again. Beat Tim Duncan, and it was a tough matchup against the King. That's the game.
Yes, it was.
When Vlade Divac, instead of getting the rebound, he slapped the ball back. Robert Ory catches the ball and hits the champion game winner. Nothing but nets.
I'm taking points off of Chris Webber, too. You putting the ball behind your back. You ain't playing like a big man. Man, go body to body with Shaq. I don't care if you got to icy hot your ribs that night. Chris Webber kind of disappointed me, and they were actually up. The Kings should have won.
Yeah,
should have won.
Kings had that series together. They had the series, but like I said, that Mamba mentality.
We're down.
Kobe Bryant was not about to lose to the LA King. He wanted that three-peat because, remind you, his idol was Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan already did a three-peat twice. So I believe his determination would say, you know what, Mike? You won 3. I need to get 3.
Exactly.
And so
let me throw another Kobe quote out there since I'm in the zone on that. Kobe, and I quote, "When you quit, you give someone else a chance to win." Ain't no quit in Kobe. He played until the end. Buzzer beater, OT, whatever it takes, he's going to get it in and put that dub up there.
And the one thing about and Kobe Bryant is very petty in a good way. Kobe Bryant is very petty in a good way. But
Yeah.
as you see, he won the championship, a three-peat. The very next year, Karl Malone comes to them, Gary Payton comes to them. They try to four-peat. They lose to Detroit Pistons. And at that time, Kobe Bryant was on the verge of going to Chicago. He was a free agent. Shaq, because they were debating either you keeping Shaq or you want to keep Kobe Bryant. Which one of the two? And this is when they trade Shaq to Miami. And
Mm-hmm.
Shaq won the championship down in Miami, giving him 4 rings. Remind you, at the time, Kobe Bryant, Shaq had won all the MVPs for the finals. He was the most valuable player. And then they end up getting him Gasol, getting him some help there. So when I say he was petty, because Shaq had won that extra championship, that was extra motivation for Kobe Bryant to say, you know what?
No doubt.
I'm going to get me another championship. So his focus was around doing better than Shaq and proving I can win more without Shaq, where he averaged 35 and 5 and 1 steal. He beat the Jazz, the Rockets, the Nuggets, and this is when they beat Dwight Howard, when the Magics actually beat the Cleveland Cavaliers with LeBron James, and they beat them. They were outmatched. But actually, man, the Magic had a pretty good team. Had Howard down at the center. He was young.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had the guy he was with Phoenix Suns, went to Orlando. Lewis, 6'10", amazing outside jump shot. So the Magic actually had a pretty good team there, but they were outmatched by the Lakers. Lakers had a much better team, and they won it. And so Kobe Bryant, his focus was to do better than Shaq.
I still say that Shaq should still be paying D Wade's bills from 2006 when D Wade was the MVP, and just had a nice crew. Alonzo Mourning coming off surgery, still getting it in, getting mad boards. Shaq was steadily leaning to out of shapeville and leaning on a lot of them dudes getting it in. You just had some Iron Men and guys who just wanted it. I saw Alonzo Mourning eyes. He wanted it. Let's not forget, Gary Payton said, you know what? Going back to Malone, I'm going to take points off Malone. You played your entire career with the Jazz, but you tried to team jump to get a ring. Didn't like that at all from Malone. And then couldn't do it.
Why would you say that? Everybody do it nowadays in the NBA.
The Jazz and the Lakers, they were rivals, man.
Hey, I'm gonna say it like this. I know this Kobe moment, but I'm gonna shift gears. LeBron James won his first championship with another squad.
True.
We
already know that Barkley and all them started that team jump, and I get it. I won't go there with LeBron. I got it. I just didn't respect Karl Malone. That was some sort of Benedict Arnold. I know all the Jazz fans were like, what? How'd that happen?
Are you still upset with him calling out Zion, man? Sound like you still upset.
No. I've let that go. I'm going to forgive it. It's over. I ain't going there. But, man, Kobe can easily catch fire from anything. Yeah, the dynasty did break up due to immaturity and let the in-house problems get to him. Because if I was the owner, I would pull those two in there and say, I don't care what it takes. Okay, we missed 2 opportunities, but y'all going to play together and so we can get these rings.
Watch this. They came back. They had an interview with Kobe Bryant as well as Shaq, and even Shaq had to apologize for him being so immature. He even said they could have had like 4. If he would have been more mature, he felt like they would have had like 5 or 6 rings together as a tandem.
Easy.
Because Shaq was still recognized as a dominant figure at the time. If Shaq, just think about it, man. When Shaq came in the league, he was a lean 7-foot and run the floor like a gazelle. Shaq even just think about Orlando was stupid to let Shaq go when I would have gave Shaq, like, hey, Shaq, how much money do you want? I would have given him whatever check he wanted. and make sure he stayed. Because you had Penny there.
I think Shaq wanted those bright lights, man.
No,
LA, Forum, Stars.
that's not what it was. You got to go and hear the interview with Shaq. Shaq did not want to leave Orlando.
I heard him and Penny, and they were sitting together by the water, and Shaq did lie. If I could do it all over again, I'd stay with Orlando. Yeah,
no,
right.
No, I'm telling you.
And give up them rings. Yeah, okay, guy.
To me, man, Shaq wanted to stay in, but it was disrespectful that Orlando waited till Alonzo Mourning signed that $100 million contract with the Miami Heat, and he was in serious negotiation with the Lakers. Now you want to come to me and give me this contract? To me, if they would have been upfront to Shaq, we're going to sign you. We want to make you the highest paid player in the league. That I believe Shaq would have signed that contract. I don't think. I mean, he didn't have. What was the point of him lying? He didn't have no reason to lie. He felt disrespected to the fact that what they did. Yeah, I agree, and that's what I was saying. Carmelo was saying what you were saying, Dom, my brother. I agree with you. Yeah, it was about the money.
Right.
Yeah, it was about the money. I disagree. It was about he felt disrespected. You're gonna wait till the Lakers gonna make you an offer of being the highest paid player in the league, and now all of a sudden you want to offer me the money? I feel disrespected too. Nah, I got what I wanted by another organization, and a better and a more established organization with the Lakers.
Yeah.
So, I don't blame him from leaving, but to me initially, he wanted to stay with Orlando. Orlando was just messing around. I'm like, dude, you had Shaq, you had Penny, you had D. Scott, you had Grant, Horace Grant down there. Then my thing is they had a nice nucleus. So, but it is what it is. Water and Bridge. And then, but then we kind of got ahead of ourselves. And this is Kobe Bryant. This is what Durant came in and they beat the Celtics. I was pulling for my boy Ray in the Celtics. They beat the Celtics, and this is the reason why Kobe Bryant won this championship, because Kevin Garnett said he was out of gas. He said he was completely exhausted.
Now you're talking 2009.
His last championship they actually won with the Lakers, and if this 2010, 2009, the Celtics won. The Celtics was trying to repeat, and they played
the Celtics won in 08.
No,
Lakers 09 and 10.
On the Lakers won it in 10. They actually won it in the year before that. The Lakers lost the Celtics, then they came back and played them again. So they won it in 10, so they won it in 09. So
that Lakers got back to back, because I remember when the Lakers were up by 27, I went to the store, came back, Celtics won in LA in the Forum and shut it down. Kobe's jaws was so tight after the game that he could barely speak, like his jaw needed to be rewired. I saw revenge and fire in his eyes for losing that 27-point lead at the house.
Hey, Ray got on fire.
Henceforth, 2009, 2010.
Hey, and they won it. To me, but like I said, he was exhausted, winning overtime. It was a great game, showed up, but Kobe Bryant was determined. Like I said, he was determined to have more championship rings than Shaq.
Oh, definitely. Definitely fire. Definitely inspiration.
He didn't even take time off. When they lost to the Celtics a year before that, he didn't take that. He probably took a small, short break, and he was back in the gym. His whole focus the following year was to return to the finals and win it.
Yeah. So, incredible. The Paul Gasol pickup was incredible.
That was a high robber again. Jerry West did it again.
Boy, he reinvented himself, renovated his career, Paul Gasol. My goodness.
Gotcha. So what I'm going to do, man, last part, I just wanted to play a video with Kobe Bryant. It's just that Mamba mentality. I just want to hear some of the things that he's talking about being a winner, and just hear the type of mentality that he had in being being an actual winner. So I'm going to play. We're going to sit and just enjoy it as we can play tribute to Kobe Bryant.
Like I would watch Magic play. I'd watch Michael play. And I would see them do these unbelievable things. And I'd say, can I get to that level? I don't know, but let's find out.
That's why he's the best player in the game.
Everything was done to try to learn how to become a better basketball player. Everything. And so when you have that point of view, then literally the world becomes your library to help you to become better at your craft.
So because you know what you want, the world's giving you exactly the information
100%
to become better at it.
Because you know what you're looking for.
So many guys tell stories about your work ethic.
Yeah.
What was really your work ethic like, and for how long did you stay disciplined?
Well, I mean, every day. Since 20 years, it's an everyday process, and trying to figure out strengths and weaknesses. For example, jumping ability. Man, my vertical was a 40, wasn't a 46 or a 45. My hands are big, but they're not massive. Right? So you got to figure out ways to strengthen them, so your hands are strong enough to be able to palm a ball and do the things that you need to do. Quickness, I was quick, but not insanely quick. I was fast, but not ridiculously fast. Right? So I had to rely on skill a lot more. I had to rely on angles a lot more. I had to study the game a lot more. And but I enjoyed it though. So like from the time I can remember when I started watching the game, I studied the game and it just never changed. It's a good separation for me, emotionally, to be able to put myself in a place where at practice or when I'm training or during games, I switch my mind to something else. Switch my mode into something else, right? For me, it's the equivalent of Maximus Decimus Meridius in Gladiator picking up the dirt, smelling the dirt. It's go time, right? So that was my mental switch. It was like an actor getting ready for a film. You got to put yourself in that cage. When you're in that cage, you are that character. Then when you leave there, it's something completely different. But when I'm in that cage, bro, don't touch me. Don't talk to me. Leave me alone.
How did you get mentally and emotionally so strong where it doesn't bother you?
Well, you got to look at the reality of the situation. Like for me, it's not, you kind of got to get over yourself. It's not about you, man. Like, okay, you feel embarrassed. You're not that important. Like, get over yourself.
That's where you go.
Get over yourself. Right? Like you're worried about how people may perceive you, and like you're walking around and it's embarrassing because you shot 5 air balls. Get over yourself. Right? And then after that, it's okay, well, why did those air balls happen? Got it. High school, year before, we played 35 games, max, right? Week in between, spaced out, plenty of time to rest. In the NBA, it's back to back to back to back to back to back to back. I didn't have the legs. So you look at the shot, every shot was online. Every shot was online, but every shot was short. Right? I got to get stronger. I got to train differently. The weight training program that I'm doing, I got to tailor it for an 82-game season so that when the playoffs come around, my legs are stronger and that ball gets there. So I look at it with rationale. Say, okay, well, the reason why I shot air balls is because my legs aren't there. I go, well, next year they'll be there. That was it.
Done.
Done.
Were there some names that you looked at and says, these 3 guys are as crazy as I am?
I do. At the time, I deal with what I refer to as Goat Mountain. I went to Goat Mountain, and I talked to Magic, Michael, Bird, Hakeem Olajuwon, Jerry West, Oscar Robinson, Bill Russell. So I would talk to them. What did you do? What were your experiences? Michael in particular has become my big brother. He's been my big brother since I first came in the league. And what was that process like? So I went to them and started understanding the ins and outs of the game and how they approach things and their level of detail and obsessiveness. And that's what I did. The players that had that passion but weren't willing to commit their entire lives to doing that, right? It's a choice. Right? You have other things. You have family. You have all these other things that you have to do. The game can't really be your number one priority. And so that's
Man, that's just goes to show you, man,
Yeah, man.
how dedicated Bryant was just to being great. As I stated, um, guy was great, man. You can't take anything from him.
Incredible. Incredible. You don't have to like him. You don't have to be a Kobe fan, but just what he did off his work ethic, the work ethic, man. If you don't take nothing else away from this, go to work, work hard, look at all the haters, get inspiration, put it on your back, get that dirt. It's go time.
But watch the guy still was even great even after the NBA. I know they had a conversation with Kobe Bryant, and they asked a question pertaining to his thoughts on being arguably one of the greatest players to ever play the game. He said that's not. He said that's not even on my mind. He said I leave that for other people to have that conversation because, like he said, his mind had shifted, and then he won an Oscar for him he put together. So he understood that time had already passed. That's for us. That's what we do. But his focus was in a completely different area, a completely different space that he did not have time to go back and get in a debate, if I'm the greatest, if I'm this or that. He said, no, my focus is someplace else. And because it's someplace else, I don't give it energy to distract me from where I'm trying to go.
Definitely, man. Definitely.
Yeah, man. So man,
when Magic Johnson, and people can say what they want, oh, Magic's old, Magic had no. When Magic Johnson says Kobe Bryant's the greatest Laker, it means something, man. It means something. I don't know how anybody else take it, but Magic was great, incredible, man.
bruh.
But when he says Kobe Bryant's the greatest Laker, it's over.
Hats off, my brother. Yeah, you had to take that hat off, man. If he's saying that, at the time, Magic was arguably the greatest Laker to ever play.
Yes.
Between him and you had Kareem. Some people say it was Kareem. Some people say it was Magic. His argument, but he said, "Hey, hats off." He didn't say Kareem was the greatest. He said Kobe is the greatest. That man.
It says volumes, man. And he said that while Kobe was living. He didn't just say it last year. He been said that.
Yes, and it's a beautiful thing to where somebody that you look up to can say, "Hey, man, you know what? You have surpassed me." And I mean, just think about your dad saying, "That son, I'm so proud of you." And the thing that you accomplished, I'm gonna let you know, man. I'm gonna give you your flowers while you're still alive, son. You've done something I've never accomplished. And so you hear that from somebody, you like I said, Magic was a big brother and stuff like that. Even your mentor, even I have a couple of mentors, man. When they say stuff to me, man, really touch my heart. It's like, man, I didn't realize you saw that. Yeah, man, I see it. I let you know that they're watching you, observing you, and what you're doing is a beautiful thing, man. So as we getting towards the end of the show, man, what's your final thoughts about Kobe? I mean, the Black Mamba.
It's unreal and it's unbelievable that it even happened and that it's a year, man. This one hurt something awful.
Oh, man.
It's going to be hard to watch ESPN tonight. Because they're going to give it up to them if they already have. I've tried not to watch any ESPN because it still hurts, man.
Yeah.
It just hurts. One of our heroes is gone. He's going to be missed forever. One of the great ones, man. Love you, Kobe, man. Rest in peace, baby.
Rest in peace. Much love, Kobe. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys joining us today. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Make sure you support us. We're going to be back on this thing tomorrow talking sports again. I'm Nick.
I'm Mike.
And we are Military Brothers talking sports. Peace.
Yep.